Hello, and welcome to this AI and Data Hackathon in review for our fall 2023 Worldwide Hackathon here in Silicon Slopes. Here in Utah, we actually have a number of things that make an amazing environment for a strong AI community. We have some universities with top-notch AI programs, also in computer science and data science, and other programs that lead to a variety of data-focused fields of work. We also have a lot of startups and a lot of established companies as well that are known worldwide. We've also got some of the big LinkedIn influencer names in the data space, like Ben Taylor and Joe Reese and Tyler Folkman and Matt Harrison. And at one point, we even had Travis Oliphant, the creator of Anaconda and NumPy, and if you didn't know, the NumPy project was actually conceived by Travis Oliphant when he was a professor at Brigham Young University. The last two names I'll drop are Chris Brousseau and Matt Sharp, who are writing what is currently the most popular Manning book in the Manning Early Access program. And it's a fun shout out because Chris and Matt actually both came and participated in the hackathon doing generative AI related projects. And you'll see Chris's demo later on. And I have two reasons for saying all this. One is that Utah actually has a very tight data community with some really smart people. And these people are known all over the world. And I think that if you were to ask these people what community they say they belong to, I'm sure they would claim the Utah data community, but also I think they would say that they're part of the worldwide AI and data community. So I highlight all these Utah-specific things to showcase what Utah has to offer to the worldwide data community before presenting our vision that Utah becomes a champion and a welcoming environment for people all over the world who want to be part of this space. With that said, what you are about to see are 9 demo videos that showcase AI and data-related projects that were built over the course of 16 hours at a hackathon that we just hosted here in Utah on November 3rd. If you don't know, a hackathon is a setting where people build any project that they want, oftentimes with a prompt, in a limited period of time. In this case, we had one sponsored project by a company called Nerd, which offered $2,500 in prizes for analysis of a data set containing meeting transcripts. And all other projects were areas of interest that people who came to the hackathon wanted to build in. All right, the last thing I want to say before we get started with this is I would like to thank our sponsors who put on this hackathon and made it possible. The first is the Forge Utah Foundation. If you didn't know, the Forge Utah Foundation is an umbrella that houses a number of different meetups in Utah. Several of them are related to data and data engineering, but there are also topics like Go and Kubernetes. And one of the meetups that's housed by the Forge Utah Foundation is the Utah chapter of the MLOps community meetup founded by Demetrius Brinkman. And that is the particular meetup that put on this hackathon event. We had 2 companies sponsor this hackathon. One is Ben Labs, a very cool entertainment AI company who provided dinner, as well as several employees who participated in the hackathon, organized it, and mentored. Our other sponsor was Nerd United, who provided breakfast and hosted 60 people in person in their office all night long. And to put that contribution into perspective, it's actually really hard to host a meetup at a business because a business takes on liability anytime they allow non-employees into their office, because in your office space, presumably you have sensitive information, sensitive systems. You also have to coordinate with facilities people and figure out how the HVAC is going to run. And there's cleanup involved after the event. And you really hope that when people attend the event, they don't break anything expensive. And the fact that Nerd hosted us all night long in their office is amazing because they took on all these risks at hours of the night where you have fewer people willing to come and monitor what's going on. So thank you very much, Nerd and Ben Labs, for hosting this. And in particular, Connor McLeod was our point of contact at Nerd, who really was the one who drove us being able to use the office space. And John Daniels championed the event internally at Ben Labs. All right, let's get on with watching the demos. I hope you'll enjoy these, and I hope that you will also participate either in person or remotely when we host these in the future.
For our project, we worked on seamless on-screen video translation. So now not only can you translate your voice while matching the lips and preserving background audio, but you can also translate text on screen. So, hello, world. Para nuestro proyecto, trabajamos en la traducción de video ininterrumpida. Ahora, no solo puedes traducir tu voz, sino también sincronizar los labios y mantener el audio. Pero también puedes traducir texto en pantalla. Así que, hola, mundo.
Putting machine learning models into production is hard. Oftentimes, a workflow looks like this. A data scientist trains a model on their laptop. A machine learning engineer productionizes those models and deploy them. And this is called a handoff model. Sometimes the data scientist and the ML engineer are the same person, which actually leads to more optimal velocity. The problem is, very often, these handoffs go terribly wrong due to differences in the local environment that the model was trained on, aka the data scientist's laptop, versus the cloud serving environment that the model will be run on in production. A better workflow would be for the data scientist to do all of their model training remotely so that when the engineers go to deploy the model, the process is seamless because the model has already been designed for the production environment. A CLI tool called ClearML Session makes this workflow with remote workstations possible. A data scientist or machine learning engineer uses the ClearML Session CLI on their laptop, which reaches out to a control plane, the ClearML server, which then can create instances in the cloud and install the ClearML agent on them, which starts a remote workstation process. This can also be used with on-prem compute, like your gaming PC or Raspberry Pi or supercomputer. The goal of our hackathon project was to make an easier interface than the ClearML Session CLI to use to start up these remote workstations with ClearML, and we wanted to do that by creating a VS Code extension. Here's how far we got. We've written a VS Code extension that allows you to query your ClearML control plane for remote workstations that you've already spun up. For this demo, we've already created a ClearML control plane, and we've already created an EC2 instance in AWS and installed the ClearML agent on that control plane and started up a ClearML Session remote workstation on that EC2 instance. We have 2 of these remote sessions running right now. The VS Code extension makes authenticated calls to the ClearML control plane to list the sessions that we already have going, and now we can do operations against these remote workstations, like viewing them in the ClearML browser and attaching to them locally. This feature isn't fully implemented yet, but we already have the functionality to start a sub-process of the ClearML Session CLI tool to open up an SSH tunnel, which will make it easy to start a remote VS Code session in the instance. The next step would be to automatically open up the VS Code window so that a data scientist can start using a remote workstation in one click. After doing a thorough survey of data science-oriented remote workstation solutions in the MLOps space, I believe that ClearML is one of the best offerings in the space. And I think that once this VS Code extension is complete, this best practice of using remote workstations is going to be much more accessible to thousands of data scientists around the world.
Hey, we're the team that set out to create an LLM agent swarm that collaboratively could accomplish a task. Specifically, the goal is to create a fast API app, and longer term goal is to essentially test that and deploy it. We had a pretty high goals for what we were trying to accomplish, and so we set out to accomplish this setup. And before I dive into this, I'm actually going to start it so we can let it run a little bit. It takes a little bit of time. So it goes. But see, LLMs are not super good doing a lot of things well. They're good when they're prompted for one thing, and we wanted to create several subcomponents that could essentially collaboratively work together. I ended up accomplishing part of this, but still a lot more that we could work on. And my primary role was collaboration in facilitating a lot of the teamwork on the team. which is pretty cool.
I was able to write some methods that allow the LLMs to actually write code and output it to files and then run those files.
And my role, I helped write methods that would take some online documentation and parse it in a way that we could feed it into our LLMs for more specific queries and answers to questions.
Awesome. It looks like this isn't running right now, but that's okay. We're laughing because there's just a lot of ups and downs tonight. Some of that's nice to be in, but this is our project.
Well, whereas
Hi, this is Adam Lenning and Ethan Christensen showing our submission for Perspect's challenge. We did motivational interviewing using that empathy metric.
Yeah. Motivational interviewing is a client-centered approach used mostly in therapy for communication and counseling to elicit and strengthen actions and motivations for behavior change.
Why did we choose this? It carries over to the business world in a lot of aspects. So employee engagement, goal setting, coaching and development, a lot of these leadership and communication skills.
So we structured this. There's sort of four main aspects to this. There's open-ended questions, which we modeled using text classification. There's affirmations, which we modeled using sentiment analysis. And reflective listening and summarizing, we modeled these the same using semantic similarity to the immediately preceding statement in the transcript.
This was orchestrated using Dagster. So if you see here at the top, we have an asset that reads in the data set. We parallelize the computes for these three different models, and then we get the data all back together at the end.
So a little bit of analysis of what we've got. We can see that there are just some interesting distributions, like person likes to speak. And there's some further work opportunities moving forward.
Thank you.
Morning, everyone. It is 4 a.m. on the morning of the hackathon, and I am really excited to share what I've built, and I'm very tired, but let's get into it. What I built was the Nerd Transcript data mining project. Basically, what we're taking little bits of conversation and then analyzing it in a different way for employee performance. I built a pipeline that took both statements and aggregated information about speakers to both tag comments made and speaker information. Part of this is for employee evaluation. So what makes you think of a perfect coworker? Are they curious and polite, and do they help the ball get rolling in meeting? That's definitely what I felt. So if you felt the same way, we were thinking about the project very similar ways. I started off with a lot of very traditional data mining techniques for this. All of these information on the screen I mined. I don't have time to talk about them all, but they're pretty straightforward. I also used a lot of LLMs to get different measures of information from speakers. Some of my favorites of these is the influence score, which took a look at the previous context window and the upcoming context window and saw if the comment made an impact or changed the flow of the conversation that way. But there's also a politeness score, a curiosity score, and an off-topic score. This is my project. It's just a simple main.py that just reads information from it and then saves it into the JSON. And this has all the different features that I mined just within it. So thank you so much. Have a good night, everyone.
So for my hackathon project, I looked at how crucial conversations could be used in reviewing meeting data. I did a little bit of prompt engineering to massage the data from the text transcript into a format for ChatGPT and ask kind of what it would think from the perspective of the author of crucial conversations, what score they would give to each person if a crucial conversation happened, some spots for improvement, and also a reason for the score. From the last example, you could see that it scored a little bit low. One of the people might not have been as polite as they could have been. For the second example, for the sales pitch, it shows that they had a crucial conversation. They're trying to sell something, and they both did a good job, and they received a score of a 90. And then the backend for how the whole thing works is hosted on Pipedream, where a Node.js flow just massages the incoming data into a prompt, sends it to ChatGPT, and then returns the results back to the user.
All right, welcome to the amazing skill analyzer here. So basically we measure presentation skills, listening and contribution, filler words, and resilience. So you can choose a file. It can be, as long as they're on the same JSON format, you can load in new files and future files stuff. So you can choose which skills you want to measure. You can do multiple, you can do just a few. Hit run, then you wait, and it uses the GPT API with OpenAI, and then we also have some of our own calculations, and then there we go, we got some resilience and presentations. We got stuff about Jake's presentation, and then resilience as well, and Maya's presentation as well. So there you have it. You can do more and less stuff here. So pretty crazy. Doesn't let you run it if you don't have a file selected or if you don't have any of those selected. So thank you.